Free. Tom and Dale's annual MDA Milk Off, Thursday morning at 6:30.
You're not screaming for me. Teen idols. These guys used to make gals scream. Not me personally, because I just want you all to know that I am not a screamer, nor have I ever been. But today we are going to meet teen idols from way back when I was a teenager. And some of you, I'm sure, can remember that far back, can't you? Fabian. Byrnes. Noone from Herman. Oh, this is just so neat. First, my very special guest. Do you all remember this?
As we continue through the years, we won't forget the Mouseketeer.
She was America's favorite Mouseketeer, and he was the greatest teen idol of all time.
Send a little girl for me to pray. A girl who wants my...
We watched them both fall in love on the beach summer after summer.
Every time we kiss now, it's plain to see.
Today I am very happy to welcome one of my favorite, all of our favorite movie couples. One of them used to be our neighbor, actually. We live very close together out in Valley. In fact, I have the dubious distinction of we actually own his dining room table. It's true. We got it cheap. Please welcome a terrific guy. It's so wonderful to see him, Frankie Avalon. Hi, guys.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a seat there. And guess what?
What?
Your favorite gal, my favorite gal. I wanted to be her when I was a teenage girl. I think probably every girl did, and all the guys wanted to be her boyfriend, and you were lucky enough to do that. She is visiting us from her home in Southern California. This is just a thrill of mine. Please welcome Annette Funicello.
Hey.
Hi, Vicki.
Hi.
Hi, Frankie.
Hi, Annette. You know, you look terrific.
First off, don't you both just look cute?
Thanks. Thank you.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
Annette, by the way, you look beautiful. Absolutely.
She does look. She is so pretty.
This reminds me of, I used to do in my show a routine. Do you remember that? Remember we did a little routine when I was playing Las Vegas? And I
Yeah.
had on a screen where I
Yes.
would say, Annette's not here, she's busy at home making peanut butter sandwiches.
That's right. And I say, Frankie, why do
And
you
then a screen
always
would come
say-
down. Bop, 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 bop,
Yeah.
bop, bop, and the screen would come down. And I would say, Annette, would you tell everybody? And we had this whole thing timed out. It reminds you of the same thing, only now you're live.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
Frankie, why do you always say that I'm off making peanut butter sandwiches? Actually, I make a lot more than that.
What's that?
I forgot.
Are you both the good Italian cooks? Are you?
Peanut butter pepperoni.
That's right. Peanut butter with all kinds of pasta.
That's
peanut
it,
butter
that's
with
right.
lamb
That was the
chops.
joke. That
Is
was
that the
joke.
first thing everybody wants to know, Annette? Do you use Skippy peanut
Do I
butter?
That's right. That's one of the first questions that I'm asked. Do you really eat the peanut butter? And I love it. I really do.
You know what, we were talking earlier about, I go back with Annette even further than the beach movies, because I used to come home from school every day to watch the Annette cereal, which, the cereal was part of the Mickey Mouse Club, right?
Right,
The
yes.
one that I'm remembering?
Yes, I think it was called the Annette series.
Yes, Annette. I wanted to be you.
That's it.
And and who was the girl that played the bitch? Oh, she was. You remember her. She was, what was her name, Annette?
That was Roberta Shore. And now, are you talking about the one where she accused me of stealing her necklace?
Yes. Do
When
you all
in
remember
fact,
that? Yes.
It fell down down the piano.
That's right.
Yes, yes, and she...
You know, this conversation is all before my time. I just want you to know that.
Sure,
I
in
don't
your
remember
ear.
any of this.
How do you guys remember how you met?
Pardon?
Do you remember how you and Frankie met?
Oh, I do, yeah.
What?
I remember how we met.
Do you remember how you two met?
I remember the very first time. I think it was at the Hollywood Bowl, right, Frankie?
That's right.
We were doing a show together, and I had been a big fan of Frankie's for years and years and years, and I was so thrilled to be doing this show with him. Got to meet him. He put his arm around me, gave me a little kiss on the cheek, and
Asked for her telephone number, and then called the house, picked her up, and went on a date. And
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys ever really
We
date?
dated, yes.
Yeah, we did.
No
we did a
kidding.
little. Yes.
Where did
Yes.
you take Annette on a date, Frankie?
We went to a drive-in movie. Where else?
Whoa. Did you really? How neat. What was it like doing the beach movies together? Now, were you both married by then? Beach movies?
I was married.
Frankie was married.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes, and it was very exciting to work together because we had known each other before, and it just made it so much easier. It was comfortable. It was like working with your best friend, and that's what Frankie and I really have become, our best friends, right, Frank?
Absolutely.
Yes.
For over years and years and years. I mean, we wound up making about 5 or 6, 7 pictures together.
Yes.
I know.
And, you know, one of the great things I tell everybody about this, the fact is we've worked together in motion pictures, hosting television specials, touring
Yes.
around the country. And in all the years that we have worked together, we've never had an argument. Now, that's really saying something.
No, that's...
I mean, you know, when you're working 12, 14-hour days together, never really have an argument. That's really
See, you
saying
guys are really, really good
Really
friends.
good friends, yeah.
Annette, could I talk to you for a moment about the People magazine article that came out August 17th?
Of course, yes.
And I'll tell you, I read this article, and I'm sure you all read the article. It was the most you're the most positive person, I think. The whole, you know, the way you live your life seems to be very, very positive, and it sort of came through this article. And I think everybody wants to know how you're feeling and how you're doing.
I feel really terrific, and I think attitude has so much to do with everything. I feel really good. You know, I have some bad days, of course, but the good outweigh the bad, really do, and thank you for asking.
Frankie, do you remember when you found out about Annette not being
yeah,
well?
I really do, and of course she's not aware of it, and what I'm about to say now is probably going to be the first time that she's ever heard it. When we decided to go out and do this tour together in 1989, first of all, you've got to understand, it took me really a long time to convince Annette that so many people love her and want to see her in person. And finally she said, okay, I'll do it, because we had just finished making, a couple of years before that, Back to the Beach.
Right.
So when we decided to do, she said, yes, I'll do it. Of course, I was arranging and putting the whole show together with Byrnes, and we had rehearsal times, and she'd show up and we'd start our opening number and how we go into the second number and who does this and all this stuff. And finally, after about a week's rehearsal, her husband, Glenn, took me aside, and you don't know this, Annette, this is in 1989 now. He said to me, he said, hey, little buddy, he said, we got rehearsal about 1 o'clock this afternoon. He said, can I meet you for a little breakfast at about 10 in the morning near the rehearsal studio? And I said, sure, Glenn, he said, no, I have something to tell you. I said, sure, okay, fine. And I went and met with him, and he said, little buddy, let me tell you something. He said, I know you go back a long time with Annie. He said, but I want you to know one thing, because you're going to be out there, and she just loves doing this, and she's so excited about doing it. He said to me, but I want to tell you she's got a little problem. And I didn't know where he was going. I didn't know what to expect. And finally he said she has been diagnosed with having MS. Well, I mean, I was in total shock. I mean, I didn't know what to think, what to say. Should we do the tour? Should we not? And Glenn said to me, Frankie, you've got to do it. She wants to do it more than anything in the world. She's really excited about it. So for the first time you're hearing this, Annette, I knew from 1989 all the way in time that you told me.
Yes.
Which was